Okay, let's be honest. When I say the word hell, what comes to mind? Probably not compassion, right? Well, there's this ancient Buddhist text, the Kṣitigarbha Sutra, that flips that whole idea on its head. It paints a picture of the afterlife that isn't about punishment at all, but about this incredible system of mercy.
So let's just chew on that for a second. What if everything we've been told about the underworld, hell, is wrong? What if it's not some endless torture chamber? What if it's actually a super organized, incredibly compassionate system and its whole purpose is salvation? And that is the mind-blowing premise at the heart of the Kṣitigarbha Sutra. It argues that the underworld isn't this pit of chaotic suffering we imagine. Nope, it's more like a structured, almost bureaucratic process. And it has just one goal, to guide every single being toward healing and ultimately liberation.
Okay, so you're probably wondering, how does a system like that even work? And this isn't some vague philosophical idea. The sutra lays it all out with a super clear systematic plan. It's like a 3-act play, a drama of salvation.
So the whole framework is laid out in this perfectly neat 3-part structure. First up is stage 1, the endorsement. This is where the Buddha himself gives the official go-ahead to Kṣitigarbha, who's a bodhisattva, basically a being overflowing with compassion, whose whole mission is to help everyone. Then you've got stage 2, the method, which gives the specific how-to instructions. And finally, stage 3 is execution, where the officials down in the underworld actually put the plan into action.
Let's make that even simpler. Think of it like launching a massive, universe-spanning initiative. Step 1. The CEO, the Buddha, greenlights the whole thing and appoints a project lead. That's Kṣitigarbha. Step 2. The project lead drafts up the playbook, the detailed instruction manual for how this whole salvation thing is going to work. And step 3, the boots on the ground, the team in the field, the underworld officials carry out the plan. See, it's totally logical, step by step, nothing is left to chance.
All right, so we've got a system, a plan. It's organized. But where's the compassion in all this? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. We're about to dive into let's call it the corporate culture of the underworld. And you'll be surprised at just how merciful it is.
The text actually has a name for this, administrative compassion. I love that. It's this idea that the whole setup of the underworld is designed like a really well-run organization. And its mission statement? It's not about punishment. It's about orderly healing and recovery. And it operates with just meticulous care for every single soul that passes through.
So, how do they pull this off? It really rests on 3 key pillars. First, there's delegation. Authority is spread out across this huge network of officials, making absolutely sure that no one, and I mean no one, falls through the cracks. Second is the purpose. The goal of the whole system is crystal clear. It's about healing, not getting even. And third, there's presence. The Bodhisattva's compassion is baked into the system itself. It's everywhere, even in the darkest, toughest spots. Okay, but wait a minute. Who are the actual enforcers here? The ones running the show on the ground floor. This is where all our usual fears about hell's gatekeepers start to creep in, right? Yeah, I know what you're picturing. These fearsome judges, these terrifying ghost kings looking all grim and passing judgment. And you know what? The sutra doesn't pretend they don't exist. It leans right into that imagery and acknowledges these powerful, imposing figures. But just when you think you know where this is going, the text hits you with this incredible twist. And it's all summed up in this one idea. In the darkest place, the brightest compassion coexists. It's basically telling us that what looks terrifying on the outside is actually hiding something much deeper, something beautiful.
So here it is, the big reveal. The head honcho, the lead ghost king, the scariest one of all, is actually a great bodhisattva in disguise. And get this, the Buddha himself says this being is on the path to becoming a full-fledged Buddha. So the ultimate enforcer is actually the ultimate source of compassion. Mind blown.
Okay, this is all fascinating, ancient philosophy, but what does it have to do with us, right now? Let's try to bring this wisdom into the 21st century and see how we can understand it in our digital world.
The text gives us this brilliant modern metaphor. Instead of thinking of karma as some vague mystical force, think of it as a causal data algorithm. Every single thing we think, say, or do, it's like adding a line of code to our own personal data log. That log is constantly accumulating, and it's what shapes our reality. So the underworld isn't being arbitrary or judgmental, it's literally just processing the data we've created. So what? Why does that even matter? Well, it provides this incredible sense of psychological security. It takes away that paralyzing fear of a random, chaotic afterlife and replaces it with trust. Trust in a process that's fair, that's orderly, and, most importantly, that is compassionate at its core. You can imagine how reassuring that is, not just for us thinking about our own lives, but for anyone who's ever lost someone.
And it doesn't just stop at philosophy. The sutra basically gives us a user's manual for daily life. It's a simple 3-step practice. 1. Chant. Call on the Bodhisattva's name to stir up that positive energy. 2. Share. Be altruistic. Dedicate the good things you do to help others. And 3. Be aware. Just be mindful. Remember that every single action is another piece of data you're adding to your law.
So, when we put all these pieces together, what's the big picture, the ultimate takeaway? It's that the universe, as seen through the Kṣitigarbha Sutra, isn't cold and random. It's a vast, deeply interconnected network of compassion.
Really, at its core, this text does something incredible. It takes that primal fear we all have of the underworld, and it transforms it into a promise. A promise that the entire system is designed, from the ground up, to guide every last one of us, no exceptions, straight toward enlightenment. And maybe the most powerful, most comforting message in the whole thing is this. By pulling back the curtain and showing us what the underworld and its managers are really like, the sutra gives us this incredible assurance. You are never alone, especially not on that path between life and death. There's always support. There's always guidance. There is always compassion. So I want to leave you with this question to think about. If we really took this idea to heart, that the basic operating system of the entire universe is fundamentally compassionate, how would that change things? How would it change the way we act, the way we treat each other? How might it change the way we live our lives, starting today?